Did you know that after age 50, you lose up to 1 to 2% of your muscle mass every single year? That means by the time you're 70, you could have lost nearly 30% of the muscle you had in your prime. But here's what most doctors won't tell you. This isn't inevitable. In fact, there are specific foods sitting in your grocery store right now that can actually reverse this muscle loss, even if you're in your 70s or 80s. And no, I'm not talking about expensive supplements or protein powders. I'm talking about regular, affordable foods that can rebuild your strength, protect your independence, and add years of vitality to your life. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share could change everything about how you age. Hello, my friends, I'm Dr. Adam Carter, and welcome to Seniors Life Health, the channel dedicated to helping you live your strongest, healthiest, and most independent life after 60. If you're new here, this channel is all about giving you practical, evidence-based health information designed specifically for seniors. No confusing medical jargon, no impossible routines, just real strategies that work for real people. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most important topics for senior health, muscle-building foods. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. I'm too old to build muscle, or that's for bodybuilders, not for someone my age. But let me tell you something that might surprise you. Your muscles do not have an expiration date. Scientific research has proven, time and time again, that seniors in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s can build muscle, regain strength, and dramatically improve their quality of life. Over the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to share with you the exact foods that science has proven to be the most powerful for building and maintaining muscle as we age. We'll cover 5 major sections. First, why muscle matters more than you think for your independence and longevity. Second, the protein powerhouses that rebuild muscle tissue. Third, the surprising plant foods that support muscle growth. Fourth, the essential nutrients most seniors are missing. And fifth, how to put it all together with simple, practical meal ideas. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete roadmap for eating your way to stronger muscles, better balance, and a more independent life. So let's get started. Most seniors don't realize this, but muscle loss is one of the biggest threats to your independence, your safety, and even your lifespan. Let me explain why. There's a medical condition that affects nearly half of all adults over 70, but almost nobody talks about it. It's called sarcopenia. That's just a fancy medical term for age-related muscle loss. And here's what makes it so dangerous. Sarcopenia isn't just about looking weaker or feeling less energetic. It's directly linked to falls, broken bones, loss of independence, difficulty recovering from illness, and yes, even early death. Think about it this way. Imagine your muscles as the foundation of a house. When that foundation is strong, everything else works better. You can walk to the mailbox without getting winded. You can play with your grandchildren. You can carry your own groceries. You can get up from a chair without using your arms. But when that foundation starts crumbling, everything becomes harder and more dangerous. Here's a real-life example that I see far too often in my practice. I had a patient, Margaret, who was 72 years old. She considered herself relatively healthy. She didn't have diabetes, her blood pressure was under control, and she walked around her neighborhood regularly. But over the course of a few years, she noticed that simple tasks were becoming harder. Getting out of her car took more effort. Climbing stairs left her breathless. Opening jars became nearly impossible. One day, Margaret missed a step going down to her basement and fell. She broke her hip. Now here's the critical part. It wasn't the fall that broke her hip. Medical studies show that often it's the other way around. The hip breaks first because the muscles are too weak to support the bone, and then the person falls. Margaret spent 3 months in recovery, lost even more muscle during that time, and never fully regained her independence. This story doesn't have to be your story, because unlike so many things that happen as we age, muscle loss is something we can control. Your muscles are incredibly responsive to 2 things, the right kind of exercise and the right kind of nutrition. Today, we're focusing on that second part, nutrition. Now, let me share something that might surprise you. When researchers studied centenarians, people who live past 100, they found something fascinating. These individuals didn't necessarily have perfect cholesterol or perfect blood sugar, but almost all of them had one thing in common. They maintained good muscle mass and strength well into their 90s. In fact, maintaining muscle might be one of the best predictors of living a long, independent life. Your muscles do so much more than just help you move. They're your body's metabolic powerhouse. Muscle tissue burns calories even when you're resting, which helps you maintain a healthy weight. Muscles act like a glucose sponge, soaking up blood sugar and helping prevent or manage diabetes. Strong muscles protect your joints from arthritis pain. They support your bones and reduce fracture risk. And here's something that surprises many seniors. Your muscle mass actually affects your immune system. People with better muscle mass tend to fight off infections better and recover from illness more quickly. So when we talk about muscle-building foods, we're not just talking about getting stronger. We're talking about staying independent, preventing falls, managing chronic diseases, maintaining your weight, protecting your bones, and ultimately, adding quality years to your life. But here's the challenge that makes nutrition so critical for seniors. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at building muscle from the protein we eat. Scientists call this anabolic resistance. Basically, it means that a 70-year-old needs to eat more protein and make smarter food choices than a 30-year-old to build the same amount of muscle. The good news? When you know what foods to eat and how to eat them, you can completely overcome this challenge. Now, before we dive into the specific foods, let me give you a preview of what's coming that's going to make you want to keep watching. In just a moment, I'm going to reveal the #1 protein source that research shows is more effective for building senior muscle than any other food. This might surprise you. It's not steak, it's not fish, and it's something that costs less than $3 at any grocery store. But first, let me ask you this. If you're finding this information helpful so far, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now for Seniors Life Health. I post new videos every week, specifically designed for seniors who want practical, science-based health guidance they can actually use. And click that bell icon so you never miss a video that could improve your health and independence. Trust me, what's coming next is information you'll want to have. All right, let's continue. Here's what most seniors don't know about protein. It's not just about the amount you eat. It's about the quality, the timing, and the specific amino acids in that protein. Let me break this down in a way that makes sense. Your muscles are made of protein, kind of like how a brick house is made of bricks. When you eat protein, your body breaks it down into building blocks called amino acids, and then uses those amino acids to repair and build muscle tissue. But here's the key. There's one particular amino acid called leucine that acts like a trigger for muscle building. Think of leucine as the foreman at a construction site. Without enough of this foreman giving orders, the construction crew just stands around. You need enough leucine in each meal to flip that muscle-building switch. So what's the #1 protein source I mentioned? It's eggs. Specifically, whole eggs with the yolk. Now, I can hear some of you saying, "But doctor, I thought eggs were bad for cholesterol." Let me set the record straight. Decades of research have now shown that for most seniors, eating whole eggs does not raise your risk of heart disease. In fact, eggs are one of the most perfect muscle-building foods nature ever created. Here's why eggs are so powerful for seniors. First, they contain all 9 essential amino acids in exactly the right proportions your body needs. Second, they're packed with leucine, that muscle-building trigger I mentioned. Third, the yolk contains vitamin D, which is crucial for muscle function and something most seniors are deficient in. Fourth, eggs contain a nutrient called choline that supports muscle nerve function. And fifth, they're one of the most affordable and easy-to-prepare protein sources available. I recommend that most seniors eat 2 to 3 whole eggs per day. You can have them scrambled for breakfast, hard-boiled as a snack, or mixed into a vegetable omelette. One patient of mine, Robert, who's 76, started eating 3 eggs every morning for breakfast. After just 8 weeks of combining this with light resistance exercise, he told me, "Doc, I can get out of my chair without pushing off with my hands for the first time in 5 years." That's the power of the right nutrition. Now let's talk about the other protein powerhouses. Greek yogurt is another exceptional choice for seniors. Regular Greek yogurt contains about 15 to 20 grams of high-quality protein per cup, nearly double what regular yogurt provides. It's also rich in calcium for your bones, contains probiotics for gut health, and it's easy to eat even if you have dental issues or trouble chewing. I always recommend plain Greek yogurt rather than the flavored varieties, which are loaded with added sugar. You can add your own berries or a small drizzle of honey if you want sweetness. Here's a practical tip. Have Greek yogurt as a mid-morning or mid-afternoon snack. Remember, you want to spread your protein throughout the day, not just eat it all at dinner. Your muscles can only process about 25 to 35 grams of protein at a time for muscle building, so eating protein at every meal is more effective than eating a huge steak once a day. Now let's talk about fish, particularly fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines. These are what I call double-duty foods because they provide both high-quality protein and omega-3 fatty acids. Those omega-3s are powerful anti-inflammatory compounds that actually help reduce the muscle breakdown that happens with aging. Research shows that seniors who eat fatty fish 2 to 3 times per week have better muscle mass and strength compared to those who do not. Salmon is probably the most popular choice, but don't overlook canned sardines or mackerel. These are incredibly affordable, they're already cooked, and because you eat the small bones, they provide extra calcium. One of my patients, Dorothy, age 81, was initially skeptical about sardines. But when I showed her how to mash them on whole grain crackers with a little lemon and pepper, she became a convert. She told me, "It's cheaper than salmon, I don't have to cook it, and I actually feel stronger." That's exactly what we want. Chicken and turkey breast are lean protein sources that are familiar to most seniors. A 4-ounce serving provides about 30 grams of protein with very little fat. The key is to avoid fried or heavily breaded preparations. Baked, grilled, or slow-cooked chicken is ideal. If you have trouble chewing, slow-cooked chicken that falls apart easily is perfect. You get all the protein benefits without the chewing difficulty. Now I need to address beef. Many seniors grew up eating beef regularly, and good news, lean beef can absolutely be part of a muscle-building diet. Beef contains not just protein, but also iron, zinc, and vitamin B12, nutrients that many seniors become deficient in. The key word is lean. Choose cuts like sirloin, tenderloin, or 90% lean ground beef. A serving about the size of your palm, 3 to 4 times a week, is perfectly reasonable for most seniors. However, I also need to mention that some seniors need to be cautious with red meat if they have certain health conditions. If you have kidney disease, gout, or high uric acid levels, talk to your doctor about the right amount of meat for you. Let me give you one more powerful protein source that many seniors overlook: cottage cheese. Low-fat cottage cheese contains a special type of protein called casein that digests slowly, providing a steady stream of amino acids to your muscles for hours. This makes it an ideal evening snack. Some research suggests that eating cottage cheese before bed can support overnight muscle recovery. Plus, it's soft, easy to eat, and very affordable. Here's a simple formula I give my patients for daily protein intake. Multiply your weight in pounds by 0.5 to 0.6. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you should aim for about 75 to 90 grams of protein per day, spread across 3 meals and possibly a snack. That might sound like a lot, but let me show you how easy it is. 3 eggs at breakfast gives you 18 grams. A cup of Greek yogurt mid-morning gives you 20 grams. A chicken breast at lunch gives you 30 grams. And a piece of salmon at dinner gives you another 25 grams. That's 93 grams, and none of those portions are enormous. But here's something crucial that many seniors don't realize. Protein alone isn't enough. There are specific plant foods that work like fertilizer for your muscles. They create the perfect internal environment for muscle growth and repair. And research shows that seniors who combine these plant foods with protein build muscle twice as fast as those who only focus on protein. What are these foods? That's what we're covering next, and you definitely don't want to miss this. Here's something that might surprise you. Some of the most powerful muscle-supporting foods are not proteins at all. They're plants. Let me explain why this matters so much for seniors. When you exercise or even just go about your daily activities, your muscles experience a little bit of damage and inflammation. This is actually normal and necessary for muscle growth. But here's the problem for seniors. As we age, we tend to have higher levels of chronic inflammation throughout our body. This constant inflammation actually interferes with muscle building and accelerates muscle breakdown. That's where certain plant foods come in. They contain compounds called antioxidants and phytonutrients that reduce inflammation, support muscle recovery, and create the optimal environment for muscle growth. Think of protein as the building materials for muscle, and these plant foods as the cleanup crew and support team that make sure construction goes smoothly. Let's start with leafy greens: spinach, kale, collard greens, and Swiss chard. Now I know some of you are thinking, how can spinach build muscle? Here's how. Leafy greens are rich in nitrates, natural compounds that improve blood flow to your muscles. Better blood flow means more oxygen, and nutrients reach your muscle tissue, which supports both muscle function and muscle growth. There was a fascinating study done in Australia where they tracked seniors over several years. Those who ate just 1 cup of leafy greens per day had significantly better muscle strength and physical function compared to those who rarely ate greens. We are not talking about a small difference. The green eaters had the muscle function of people 11 years younger. But here's the practical challenge. Many seniors struggle to eat raw greens because they can be tough to chew or cause digestive discomfort. My solution: cook them. Sauté spinach in a little olive oil with garlic, or add chopped kale to soups and stews. Cooking breaks down the tough fibers while keeping all those beneficial compounds. Plus, your body actually absorbs some of the nutrients better from cooked greens. Next, let's talk about berries. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, and raspberries. These little powerhouses are loaded with antioxidants called anthocyanins that specifically reduce muscle inflammation and damage. Research from Tufts University found that older adults who ate 1 cup of blueberries per day had better muscle recovery and less soreness after exercise. Here's how I recommend eating berries. Add a handful to your morning oatmeal or Greek yogurt, blend them into a smoothie, or just eat them as a snack. Fresh or frozen doesn't matter. Frozen berries are often more affordable, and they're frozen at peak ripeness, so they're just as nutritious as fresh. Now let's discuss something that surprises many people: beans and lentils. Yes, these are protein sources. A cup of lentils has about 18 grams of protein, but they're also incredibly rich in fiber, B vitamins, iron, and magnesium. These nutrients support muscle function in ways that pure protein sources don't. Magnesium, for example, is crucial for muscle contraction and relaxation. Many seniors are deficient in magnesium, which can contribute to muscle weakness and cramping. Just 1 cup of black beans provides about 30% of your daily magnesium needs. I understand that some seniors avoid beans because they cause gas and bloating. Here are 2 solutions. First, if you use canned beans, rinse them thoroughly under water. This removes much of the gas-causing compounds. Second, start with small amounts and gradually increase. Your digestive system will adapt over time. One of my patients, Frank, who's 73, told me he never ate beans because of digestive issues. I suggested he start with just a few tablespoons of well-rinsed black beans in his lunchtime salad. After 2 weeks, he had no problems and gradually increased to a half cup. 3 months later, he told me, "Doc, I have more energy, my blood sugar is better, and I think I'm actually stronger." That's the power of gradual, consistent changes. Sweet potatoes are another muscle-supporting superstar. They're rich in complex carbohydrates, which provide the energy your muscles need to function and recover. Here's something many seniors don't understand. You need carbohydrates to build muscle. Without enough carbs, your body will actually break down muscle tissue to use for energy. Sweet potatoes provide that energy, plus they're loaded with vitamin A, vitamin C, and potassium, all of which support muscle health. A medium sweet potato has only about 100 calories, but provides 4 grams of fiber and more than 400% of your daily vitamin A needs. They're also naturally sweet, easy to digest, and soft enough for seniors with chewing difficulties. You can bake them, mash them, or even eat them cold in a salad. Let's talk about tomatoes and bell peppers. These vegetables are rich in vitamin C, which is essential for building collagen, a protein that forms the connective tissue in and around your muscles. Research shows that seniors with higher vitamin C intake have better muscle mass. One study found that men over 65 with the highest vitamin C intake had about 10% more muscle mass than those with the lowest intake. Bell peppers are one of the richest sources of vitamin C. One medium red bell pepper has more vitamin C than an orange. Tomatoes also contain lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that reduces inflammation. The best part? Both are easy to incorporate into meals. Add sliced peppers to eggs, Put tomatoes in salads or sandwiches, or roast both with a little olive oil as a side dish. Now here's a plant food that many seniors don't think about: beets. Beets are rich in nitrates, the same compounds I mentioned in leafy greens that improve blood flow and oxygen delivery to muscles. Some research suggests that beet juice can actually improve muscle power and endurance in older adults. You can eat beets roasted, pickled, or even drink a small glass of beet juice. If you don't like the taste, try mixing beet juice with orange juice or apple juice. Finally, let's discuss cruciferous vegetables: broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and cabbage. These vegetables contain compounds called glucosinolates that support your body's natural detoxification processes and reduce inflammation. They're also rich in vitamin K, which works with vitamin D to support muscle function. I know, Brussels sprouts are not everyone's favorite, but here's the secret. Roasting them with a little olive oil, salt, and pepper transforms them into something delicious. Many of my patients who swore they hated Brussels sprouts have become converts after trying them roasted. Here's a practical approach I recommend. Aim for at least 5 servings of vegetables per day, with at least 3 of those servings coming from the muscle-supporting vegetables I just mentioned. A serving is about a half cup cooked or 1 cup raw. That might sound like a lot, but it's easier than you think when you spread it throughout the day. For example, scramble your morning eggs with spinach and tomatoes, that's 2 servings. Have a small salad with lunch, that's another serving. Snack on some baby carrots and bell pepper strips, that's 4 servings. Have roasted broccoli or Brussels sprouts with dinner. That's 5 servings. See how quickly it adds up, but there's one more category of nutrients that's absolutely critical for muscle building, and it's something that nearly 50% of seniors are deficient in. I'm talking about specific vitamins and minerals that act like keys that unlock muscle growth. Without these nutrients, you could eat all the protein in the world and still lose muscle. What are they, and which foods contain them? That's coming up next, and this might be the most important section for many of you. Quick reminder, if you're getting value from this video, make sure you're subscribed to Seniors Life Health. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos on senior health, nutrition, and living your best life after 60. And if you know another senior who could benefit from this information, share this video with them. Sometimes the best gift you can give someone is knowledge that improves their health. All right, let's talk about these critical nutrients. Here's what almost no one tells seniors. You can eat plenty of protein and still lose muscle if you're deficient in certain key nutrients. These nutrients act like switches and catalysts that turn on muscle building and turn off muscle breakdown. Let me walk you through the most critical ones. First and most important, vitamin D. This is so critical that I check vitamin D levels in every single one of my senior patients, and I'd say at least 60% are deficient. Here's why vitamin D matters so much for muscle. Vitamin D receptors are found directly on muscle cells. When vitamin D activates these receptors, it enhances protein synthesis. That's the process of building new muscle tissue. Without adequate vitamin D, your muscles literally cannot respond effectively to the protein you're eating. Research has shown that seniors with low vitamin D levels have significantly weaker muscles, slower walking speed, and higher risk of falls. One major study found that seniors who brought their vitamin D levels up from deficient to optimal gained muscle strength equivalent to being 5 years younger. Now here's the problem. Very few foods contain significant amounts of vitamin D. The best food sources are fatty fish like salmon, mackerel and sardines, egg yolks, and fortified dairy products. But even if you eat these foods regularly, you're probably not getting enough vitamin D from food alone. Your skin can make vitamin D from sunlight, but as we age, our skin becomes less efficient at this process. Plus, if you live in northern climates or spend most of your time indoors, you're not getting enough sun exposure anyway. This is one area where I typically recommend a supplement. Most seniors should take 1,000 to 2,000 IU of vitamin D3 per day, but the right dose for you depends on your blood level, so ask your doctor to check it. In the meantime, eat fatty fish 2 to 3 times per week and make sure you're eating eggs with the yolks. Next critical nutrient, omega-3 fatty acids. I mentioned these briefly when we talked about fish, but let me explain why they're so powerful for muscle. As we age, muscle breakdown increases partly because of chronic inflammation. Omega-3s, specifically EPA and DHA, are among the most powerful anti-inflammatory nutrients available. They reduce muscle breakdown and enhance the muscle-building response to protein. A fascinating study from Washington University gave older adults omega-3 supplements for 6 months. The result? They had significantly better muscle protein synthesis rates compared to the control group. That means their muscles were better at building new tissue from the protein they ate. The best sources are fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, and herring. I recommend 2 to 3 servings per week, where a serving is about 4 ounces. If you don't like fish or can't eat it regularly, talk to your doctor about a fish oil or algae-based omega-3 supplement. Now let's discuss magnesium. This mineral is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in your body, including muscle contraction, muscle relaxation, and protein synthesis. Magnesium deficiency is extremely common in seniors, and it can cause muscle weakness, cramping, and fatigue. Great food sources of magnesium include leafy green vegetables, beans and lentils, nuts and seeds, whole grains, and dark chocolate. Yes, dark chocolate. A square or two of 70% or higher dark chocolate provides magnesium along with antioxidants. Just don't overdo it because of the calories. Pumpkin seeds are one of the richest sources. Just a quarter cup provides nearly half your daily magnesium needs. I tell my patients to keep a small container of pumpkin seeds and almonds as a snack. It's a simple way to boost your magnesium intake. Potassium is another mineral that's crucial for muscle function. It helps regulate fluid balance in muscle cells and supports nerve signals that tell your muscles to contract. Seniors taking certain blood pressure medications often become deficient in potassium, which can lead to muscle weakness. Good sources include bananas, sweet potatoes, white potatoes with the skin, beans, yogurt, and spinach. One medium banana has about 400 milligrams of potassium. A medium baked potato with skin has over 900 milligrams. If you eat a variety of fruits, vegetables, and legumes, you should get adequate potassium. However, I need to add a caution here. Some seniors with kidney disease or those taking certain medications need to limit potassium. Always check with your doctor if you have kidney problems. B vitamins, particularly B12, B6, and folate, are essential for muscle metabolism and preventing muscle loss. Vitamin B12 is especially important for seniors because as we age, we produce less stomach acid, which is needed to absorb B12 from food. Up to 30% of seniors are deficient in B12. Low B12 can cause muscle weakness, fatigue, and even nerve damage that affects muscle function. The best food sources are animal products, meat, fish, eggs, and dairy. If you're a vegetarian or vegan senior, you definitely need a B12 supplement. Vitamin B6 is found in chicken, turkey, fish, potatoes, and bananas. Folate comes from leafy greens, beans, and fortified grains. Eating a varied diet with animal proteins, vegetables, and whole grains should provide adequate B vitamins, but many seniors benefit from a B-complex supplement, especially if you're over 70. Here's one more nutrient that's often overlooked: zinc. Zinc plays a role in protein synthesis and testosterone production. Yes, seniors still need testosterone for muscle maintenance. Zinc deficiency is common in older adults and can impair muscle growth and recovery. Great sources include oysters, which are extremely rich in zinc, beef, chicken, beans, nuts, and seeds. Just 3 ounces of beef provides about 40% of your daily zinc needs. A handful of cashews or pumpkin seeds provides about 15%. Now let me address the question I know some of you are thinking: should I take a multivitamin? Here's my honest answer. While I generally believe that food should be your primary source of nutrients, most seniors can benefit from a basic multivitamin as insurance. A good senior-specific multivitamin will contain the key nutrients I mentioned: vitamin D, B vitamins, zinc, and magnesium, though usually not in therapeutic doses. Think of a multivitamin as a safety net, not a substitute for good nutrition. You still need to eat the nutrient-rich foods I've been discussing, but a multivitamin can help fill in the gaps. One more practical point: some nutrients work better together. Vitamin D helps you absorb calcium. Vitamin C helps you absorb iron. Healthy fats help you absorb vitamins A, D, E, and K. This is why eating a varied diet is so important. You get all these synergistic combinations that supplements can't replicate. Here's a simple way to think about it. Aim to eat a rainbow of colors every day. Red tomatoes and peppers, orange sweet potatoes and carrots, yellow bananas and squash, green leafy vegetables, blue and purple berries. Different colors represent different beneficial compounds, and together they create the optimal environment for muscle building and overall health. But knowing which foods to eat is only part of the equation. The other part, and this is where many seniors make mistakes, is how to combine these foods and structure your meals throughout the day for maximum muscle benefit. That's what we're covering next. In this final section, I'm going to give you actual meal examples and simple strategies for putting all this information together. These are practical meal plans that seniors have used to rebuild muscle, regain strength, and feel 10 years younger. You're going to want to write these down. All right, let's make this practical. I'm going to walk you through how to structure your meals throughout the day to maximize muscle building. Remember, it's not just about eating the right foods, it's about eating enough protein at each meal and spacing your meals properly. Here's the key principle. Your muscles can only process about 25 to 35 grams of protein at one time for muscle building. Eating more than that in one sitting doesn't give you extra benefit. Your body will just use the excess for energy or convert it to fat. That's why spreading protein throughout the day is so important. Let me give you a sample day of eating that incorporates everything we've discussed. This isn't a rigid diet you have to follow exactly. It's a template you can adjust based on your preferences and needs. Breakfast, around 7 or 8 a.m. Start with a 3-egg omelette made with 1 whole egg and 2 egg whites if you want to keep calories lower, or 3 whole eggs if you need more calories. Cook the eggs with a cup of spinach, a 1/4 cup of diced tomatoes, and a 1/4 cup of diced bell peppers. Cook in a teaspoon of olive oil. On the side, have a slice of whole grain toast with a thin layer of almond butter and a 1/2 cup of berries. Let's break down what you're getting here. About 25 grams of protein from the eggs, healthy fats from the olive oil and almond butter, a good serving of vegetables and antioxidants from the berries, plus the whole grain toast provides energy-sustaining carbohydrates. This breakfast sets you up for muscle building from the moment you wake up. Mid-morning snack. Around 10 or 11 a.m., have a cup of plain Greek yogurt mixed with a 1/2 cup of blueberries and a tablespoon of chopped walnuts or almonds. If you need a little sweetness, add a small drizzle of honey. This gives you another 20 grams of protein from the yogurt, omega-3s from the walnuts, antioxidants from the berries, and it keeps your muscle-building process going strong through the morning. Lunch. Around 12 or 1 p.m., make a large salad with a base of mixed leafy greens, spinach, romaine, or spring mix. Top it with 4 ounces of grilled chicken breast, 1/2 cup of chickpeas or black beans, cherry tomatoes, cucumber, shredded carrots, and a 1/4 of an avocado. Dress it with olive oil and vinegar or a squeeze of lemon. On the side, have a medium sweet potato, baked or roasted with just a bit of olive oil and cinnamon. What you're getting: about 40 grams of protein from the chicken and beans, a huge serving of vegetables, healthy fats from the avocado and olive oil, and sustained energy from the sweet potato. This is a muscle-building powerhouse meal. Afternoon snack, around 3 or 4 p.m. This is where many seniors skip eating, and that's a mistake. Your body needs consistent fuel. Have a small apple with 2 tablespoons of natural peanut butter or almond butter, or have a handful, about a 1/4 cup, of mixed nuts and seeds. This snack provides protein, healthy fats, and holds you over until dinner without spoiling your appetite. Dinner. Around 6 or 7 p.m., here's a great dinner option: a 4-ounce piece of baked salmon seasoned with lemon, garlic, and herbs. Serve it with a cup of roasted vegetables. I love the combination of broccoli, bell peppers, and zucchini tossed in a little olive oil. Add a side of 1/2 cup of quinoa or brown rice and a small side salad with mixed greens. You're getting about 30 grams of protein from the salmon, omega-3s for inflammation control, plenty of vegetables for vitamins and minerals, and complex carbohydrates from the quinoa or rice to support muscle recovery overnight. Evening snack. Optional around 8 or 9 p.m., If you're hungry before bed, and many seniors are, have a half cup of low-fat cottage cheese with a small handful of berries or a sprinkle of cinnamon. Remember, cottage cheese contains that slow-digesting casein protein that feeds your muscles overnight while you sleep. This gives you another 12 to 15 grams of protein and helps prevent muscle breakdown during the night. Let me total this up for you. Throughout this day, you've consumed approximately 140 to 150 grams of protein spread across 5 to 6 eating occasions. You've eaten at least 7 servings of vegetables and fruits. You've included omega-3s, magnesium, potassium, B vitamins, and vitamin C-rich foods. And you've never gone more than 4 hours without eating protein, which keeps your muscle-building process active all day long. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Dr. Carter, that's a lot of food. And yes, it is more food than many seniors typically eat. But here's the truth. Many seniors are actually under-eating, especially protein, and that's a major reason for muscle loss. If the full day I outlined seems like too much, start by focusing on getting adequate protein at each main meal and work up from there. Let me give you some simpler, quick meal ideas that still hit all the right notes. Quick breakfast options. Greek yogurt parfait. Yogurt layered with berries and a sprinkle of granola and nuts. Scrambled eggs with cheese and a side of fruit. Oatmeal made with milk instead of water, topped with nuts, seeds, and berries. Whole grain toast with mashed avocado and a poached egg on top. Quick lunch options. Tuna salad made with Greek yogurt instead of mayo, served on whole grain bread with lettuce and tomato turkey, and cheese sandwich on whole grain bread with vegetables and a cup of soup. Leftover chicken breast sliced over a salad. Bean and vegetable soup with whole grain crackers and a piece of cheese. Quick dinner options. Grilled chicken breast with frozen vegetable medley and a baked potato. Stir-fry with shrimp or tofu, mixed vegetables and brown rice. Beef and vegetable stew served over quinoa. Baked whitefish with roasted Brussels sprouts and sweet potato. Here's another strategy I give my patients, what I call the power plate method. This makes it simple to build any meal. Divide your plate into 4 sections. 1/4 should be lean protein, that's your chicken, fish, eggs or beans. 1/4 should be a complex carbohydrate, sweet potato, brown rice, quinoa or whole grain pasta. And half your plate should be vegetables, the more colorful the better. Add a small amount of healthy fat like olive oil, avocado or nuts. If you follow this power plate method for lunch and dinner every day, you're automatically getting balanced nutrition that supports muscle building. Now let me address some common challenges that seniors face with nutrition. Challenge 1. I don't have much appetite anymore. This is incredibly common as we age. Your solution is to focus on nutrient-dense foods, foods that pack a lot of nutrition into smaller portions. Greek yogurt, eggs, nuts, and fatty fish are perfect for this. Also, sometimes dividing your food into smaller, more frequent meals is easier than trying to eat 3 large meals. Challenge 2. I have trouble chewing tough foods. This is where cooking methods matter. Slow-cooked meats that fall apart easily, scrambled eggs instead of hard-boiled, cooked vegetables instead of raw, and smooth nut butters instead of whole nuts all make food easier to eat while keeping the nutrition. Challenge 3. I live alone and don't want to cook big meals just for myself. I hear this a lot. Here's what works. Cook once, eat multiple times. When you make chicken breast, cook 3 or 4 at once. Use 1 for dinner and save the others for salads or sandwiches later in the week. Make a big pot of soup or stew and freeze individual portions. Hard-boil a dozen eggs at the beginning of the week for quick snacks. Use your freezer strategically. Challenge 4. Healthy food is expensive. I understand this concern, especially for seniors on fixed incomes. But here's the truth. The muscle-building foods I've recommended are actually some of the most affordable options. Eggs cost less than 50 cents each in most places. Canned sardines and tuna are incredibly cheap. Dried beans and lentils cost just pennies per serving. Frozen vegetables are less expensive than fresh and just as nutritious. Chicken thighs cost less than chicken breast and are just as protein-rich. You can absolutely eat well on a budget. Challenge 5. I have diabetes or kidney disease. Does this advice still apply to me? This is an important question. The core principles still apply. You need adequate protein and nutrients to maintain muscle, but you may need to adjust the amounts or specific foods. If you have kidney disease, you might need to moderate protein slightly and watch potassium. If you have diabetes, you'll want to focus on complex carbohydrates and spread your carbs throughout the day. Always work with your doctor to personalize these recommendations to your specific health conditions. Let me give you one more powerful strategy, what I call protein front loading. Research shows that eating most of your protein at breakfast and lunch, rather than dinner, may be more effective for muscle building in seniors. So if you can only focus on one meal, make breakfast your priority. Start every day with 25 to 30 grams of protein, and you're already winning. Here's a real success story that brings this all together. I had a patient named Helen who came to see me when she was 74. She had progressively gotten weaker over several years. She was using a cane, she struggled with stairs, and she was terrified of falling like her sister had. Her diet consisted mostly of toast, cereal, canned soup, and the occasional frozen dinner. Maybe 30 or 40 grams of protein per day at most. I started Helen on a simple plan based on everything I've shared with you today. We focused on 3 main changes: 3 eggs for breakfast every morning, Greek yogurt for a snack, and a palm-sized piece of chicken or fish at dinner, plus more vegetables. I also started her on vitamin D supplements and had her do basic resistance exercises twice a week. 6 months later, Helen walked into my office without her cane. She told me she could climb the stairs to her bedroom without holding the railing. She said she felt stronger, more energetic, and more confident than she had in years. Her muscle mass had increased by about 8 pounds, and her strength tests showed improvement equivalent to being 15 years younger. That's what's possible when you combine the right nutrition with consistency and a little bit of exercise. And Helen wasn't some exceptional case. I've seen similar results with dozens of patients who commit to these principles. Now, one final critical point before we wrap up. The foods and strategies I've shared today are powerful, but they don't work if they stay as information in your head. They only work when you put them into action. So let me leave you with the key takeaways and a simple action plan to get started. Let's summarize the most important points from everything we've covered today. First, remember that muscle loss is not inevitable. Your muscles can respond and grow at any age if you give them the right nutrition and stimulus. Maintaining muscle is one of the single most important things you can do to preserve your independence, prevent falls, manage chronic disease, and add quality years to your life. Second, protein is the foundation. Aim for 25 to 35 grams of high-quality protein at each main meal. The best sources for seniors are eggs, Greek yogurt, fatty fish like salmon and sardines, chicken and turkey, lean beef, and cottage cheese. Don't make the mistake of eating all your protein at dinner. Spread it throughout the day for maximum benefit. Third, plant foods are not optional, they're essential. Leafy greens, berries, beans, sweet potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, and cruciferous vegetables create the optimal internal environment for muscle growth by reducing inflammation and providing critical vitamins and minerals. Aim for at least 5 servings of vegetables and fruits every day. Fourth, certain nutrients act as keys that unlock muscle growth. Make sure you're getting adequate vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, potassium, B vitamins, and zinc. This means eating a varied, colorful diet and potentially taking a senior multivitamin and vitamin D supplement. Fifth, timing and distribution matter. Eat protein at every meal. Don't go more than 4 hours without eating, and consider protein front-loading, eating more protein at breakfast and lunch rather than dinner. If you can tolerate it, a protein-rich evening snack like cottage cheese supports overnight muscle maintenance. Now here's your action plan. I don't want you to try to change everything at once. That's overwhelming and doesn't work. Instead, start with these 3 simple steps. Step 1. Fix your breakfast starting tomorrow. Make sure breakfast contains at least 25 grams of protein. This could be 3 eggs, a cup of Greek yogurt with nuts, or a protein-rich smoothie. This one change alone will make a significant difference. Step 2. Add 1 protein-rich snack to your daily routine. Greek yogurt, a hard-boiled egg, cottage cheese, or a handful of nuts. This keeps your muscle-building process going throughout the day. Step 3. Add 1 extra serving of vegetables to lunch and dinner. It doesn't have to be fancy frozen mixed vegetables. Heated up work perfectly. This ensures you're getting those inflammation-fighting compounds we discussed. Make these 3 changes for 2 weeks. Once they become habit, add more improvements. Upgrade your lunch protein, add more colorful vegetables. Incorporate fatty fish twice a week, but start simple and build from there. Remember, you didn't lose your muscle overnight and you won't rebuild it overnight either. But with consistent good nutrition, you can expect to see meaningful improvements in 8 to 12 weeks. Better energy, better strength, better balance, better confidence. And over 6 months to a year, you can see truly transformational changes. I want you to imagine something. Imagine 6 months from now, you're climbing stairs without getting winded. You're playing on the floor with your grandchildren. And getting up easily, you're carrying your own groceries without struggle. You're feeling strong and confident. That future is absolutely achievable, and it starts with the food choices you make today. Your body wants to be strong. Your muscles want to work properly. You just need to give them the right building materials and the right support, and now you know exactly how to do that. If you found this video helpful, I need you to do 3 things for me. First, click that subscribe button for Seniors Life Health. I create videos every single week to help you live healthier, stronger, and more independently. This is your channel for practical, evidence-based health information designed specifically for seniors. Second, give this video a thumbs up. It helps other seniors find this information, and it lets me know that you want more content like this. Third, drop a comment below and let me know. What's the one change you're going to make this week? Are you going to start eating 3 eggs for breakfast? Add Greek yogurt as a snack? Cook salmon twice a week? Share your commitment in the comments. When you write it down, you're more likely to follow through, and you'll inspire other viewers who are on the same journey. And if you want more guidance on senior health, check out the video I'll link in the description about the best exercises for seniors to build muscle. Remember, nutrition and exercise work together. You want both. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm Dr. Adam Carter, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay strong, stay healthy, and remember, it's never too late to feel better.